Hello, my name is Alfred, and I'm going to teach you how to analyze data using Jupyter Notebook. Assume that you have installed Anaconda in your laptop, and then you launch the Jupyter. So let's start off. First of all, you need to import libraries because you're going to use CSV library. You're just going to use pandas library, and we are going also to use NumPy. It's good to give a description of what you're doing. Here we are importing libraries. Next thing is to load our data. Load data. We load our data using the CSV read CSV function, which is a pandas function or method. So we create the data I'm analyzing. Let's say that I have is for automobiles. So I name my data frame variable be cars, and then I can read my and load my data using the read CSV function. Then I pass in my data file name, which is as the format is .csv using CSV format my data. So next, we can read you can print the first 10 rows so you can be able to understand what our data is containing. To do that, we use the print by 10 rows. 10 rows. And the first 10 rows of our data set. So we use print. Then we pass in our data frame. Then we use head function, which passes the 10 rows we want to print. Then we hit Control Enter. So it tells us that this variable is undefined. The reason why it is telling us we're getting these errors because we need to run all the cells. You can go to kernel, restart, and run all. This make sure that this ensures that all the cells are run. So when they run, be able to update all the variables, so we'll be able to, if we loaded our data correctly, we'll be able to get all the output as necessary. So as you can see, we have loaded our data, we have imported all the libraries, loaded our data, and then displayed or printed the first 10 rows. So the next thing we do, we have our data set. Now we need to cleanse the data. We cleanse our data by checking for duplicates, missing data, or missing rows, removing extraneous characters like bounds, changing data types, and even renaming the columns. So the first thing to do, and we need to check for missing rows. And the best thing with Jupyter Notebooks, you can write notes as you do the analysis. So let's check for data cleaning. You can see we are doing data cleansing so that we don't get errors when we create visualizations and like bar charts, like regressions. We might get errors if we don't clean our data. You can say this is a markdown. The markdown allows us to write the notes which describes what we are doing. So to run the cell, you hit Control Enter. Then we can check for missing. Checking missing rows and columns. So we create a variable called rows columns, hold our, then we use Python, then we say where function, we use pandas, then we use is NA. NA, the function that checks for missing values in our data, and we pass in our data frame. And now we can print rows. So we use the print function. Then we say we are formatted by saying there are. Then we use len. Python is len function. As in missing rows. Then we say rows with say missing data. So we run this cell, we'll be able to get us how many rows. So there are 6 rows with missing data. So next thing we know, so we need to print those rows. You can say print rows. Use the print function and pass in. Wow. Excuse me. So we use our reference, then we use the log function. Use this. So we use the log, then pass in our rows that we want to show the location of the control. So we'll be able to see missing rows. So the NA indicates that there is missing rows in our data. There is missing data in our data set. So to handle this one, we can delete this from our rows so that when we feed a model, we don't get errors. So to do this, say we are delete missing rows. So use this as our data frame. We use drop. Drop is a method that allows us to delete our data, missing data. So we are dropping missing rows, and the parameter we pass in is holding place. We say true because we don't want to create a new data set. We want to change the data set that we have. So we can check if we have removed the missing data by printing as the and print the missing to check that we have removed missing rows. Use log. We say missing and copy it. So it doesn't show anything. I think I can use this one so that if I'm making some errors. So there's no missing. So there's no missing data. So the other thing we do is to check for duplicates. Check for duplicates in our data sets. For duplicates, we say duplicate equals. We use our data frame here, square brackets, as if dot duplicated function. You can print duplicates. So there are comma, when we're checking for duplicating, show you type for variable rows with duplicate data. Should be this is string, should be in brackets. I think the variable name is wrong. That's why we are getting this error. Replace this, then run our cell. So there are no rows with duplicate data. So the other thing is you can print the columns. You want to know column names, you can print the columns so that you can know the columns and then rename them if you want to rename them. So, columns. So I should be able to show our columns. There's name and picture cylinder displacement. This is the column names for our data sets. So the other thing is we need to check for, you can check for, we need to know the data type for our data sets. Check check data types and rename and convert it types. Converting data types is important. You might want to do some calculations, and if you have a string and if the data is kept as a string, then you go and perform some calculations or even fit a model like linear regression. You might get an error telling you that you cannot write a code like maybe you want to do what we call list comprehension or even loop through the data. Sometimes you can't do it if it's a string, and if it's a, you might get an error. So you need to make sure that the data type is on the correct data type so that you don't get some errors. Let's do it. So we check for data types for our data as d types. As you can see, name is an object, it should be a string, and which is a float number. Displacement is a float, origin is an object, model is an int. So we need to change the data types, convert data types from objects to strings so that we don't get errors. So to do that, change data types. So we will change from name to string and also change origin to string. To do that, we use parse def name. That's how we access the column name from our data set. Then we say cars if dot name. To change, we use as type, then we pass in the string, the data type that we want. And we also change the origin. So you say origin, this is origin. So we want it to be a string. You can confirm. See if indeed changed the just to go down. Yeah, you can check. You see, before changing to an object, then use an object, and after changing to a string. Now our data is correct now. So with that now we start now. After cleansing our data, we can now start exploring our data. Explore data. Exploring data is important so that we do some descriptive analysis like mean data, mean, standard deviation, median, percentiles, and so forth. All these are marked down, and the title is reading is 1. Then this is to explore data, to run on, to use the describe function will give think describe. So we'll get the count for all our data columns. We'll get the mean, standard deviation. Like the standard deviation for this is miles per gallon. This 23. Standard deviation is 7.8. Minimum is 9. Median and maximum. But you can also find you can also describe one variable or one column. You can find the mean, standard deviation, and even the maximum for one variable by using this syntax. Now we want MVG, and we can say dot describe. You don't want to do everything. Use this syntax to find descriptive statistics for our column of interest. You can also do the same thing to find the mean. The mean can be standard deviation, the minimum, maximum. So we do the same. That's how we can say mean, the maximum deviation, maximum, minimum, and so forth. So you can get minimum standard deviation. I don't know what's happening here. Maybe speeds again. So mean, see, you can get it. Let's see where the problem is. Standard deviation. Maximum and minimum, maximum. So you can get all that. So you can use the shape if you want to know the number of rows and columns. Columns and use the shape function. Shape dot brackets. So we know that we have 392 rows and 9 columns. You can also use information to be able to get the information about our data. We use info. You can see it gives the column name, number of rows, count, and the data type. Name is a string, MPG is a float. So all this is to make us understand our data before we can start running now visualizations and all that. So next time we'll start now doing more calculations, grouping our data, and creating visualizations. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe so that you can get more analysis. You can get also a notification and get more so that we can continue learning and become more competent data analysts.